This is the golden rule. Let's talk about it. We don't gotta walk around it. Your Bluetooth, the new tennis shoe, we finding new balance. Faith, family, and talents. How we find God around it. Each y'all got the ox now. This your favorite channel. What we on Faith Talk? This a good space to talk. We gon' cross every road if we got a jaywalk. What we on sports now? No, this ain't Sports Center, but ever since Acock, the boy had the sport in him. Man of the house now. What we talking family ties? My dogs won't talk to me. Surely I'm a family guy. You can bring the conversation to me, get it analyzed. Men lie, women lie, the truth should be baptized. Whatever you put into this world is what you getting back. So why you listening in your car, try and sit with that? Why you listening in the gym, try and lift the gnat? This is podcast and boom, welcome to the Golden Rule. It's golden, baby!
Welcome, folks. What's going on and what's happening? It's your main man, Eddie Shaw, man. And today I'm here to bring you this rendition, this second installment of the Golden Rule podcast, where like-minded people discuss like-minded things, man. And today I got a special one. We doing entrepreneurship again, one-on-one, man. I got a lot of great feedback from the last episode of when we did entrepreneurship, and I'm bringing it back to you again today, the second installment. And I got some folks with me, man, that's going to give you fire. That's going to give you great information. Okay, so y'all are in for a treat, man. This is a special one to me, of course, because, again, the people that I'm bringing on, I've got an extensive background with them, okay? So we're going to get right into bringing these folks on, man. I appreciate everybody for joining with us, and everybody who is watching on or is listening on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. So without further ado, man, I'm going to bring these folks on here. We got to go ladies first, because I got a lady on here. I got a woman on here that's doing her thing. So I definitely want to bring her on to give her flowers. Ladies first, right? Come on now. So she's a registered nurse, an entrepreneur, and a founder of multiple family care homes in North Carolina. She has over a decade of experience in healthcare. Now, Kim also has dedicated her career to redefining long-term care and creating high-quality home-like environments where seniors can thrive. Mm-hmm. She's not only a compassionate caregiver, but also a strategic businesswoman. She focuses on training and consulting aspiring administrators, and entrepreneurs who want to open their own long-term care facilities, equipping them with the tools, insight, and the confidence that it takes to take that next step. She's also growing a digital platform that highlights her journey of personal healing through gardening and wellness, while building a supportive community of fellow caregivers, visionaries, and change makers. Her entrepreneurial journey blends clinical expertise with bold leadership and a heart for community, making her a powerful voice in the world of purpose-driven businesses. She also is growing a digital platform to inspire and teach others how to launch their own care homes, all while documenting her personal healing journey through gardening, wellness, and self-discovery. Y'all, please help me welcome to the show Kimberly Neal, nurse, founder, mentor, and advocate for dignified care.
Hello.
Kim, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Nah, man, I appreciate you
for
being on the show.
Thank you for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it.
For sure, man. Now, you got to tell me what first of all, let me explain to people. You literally been knowing me since I was in diapers.
Yes.
So
both
when I called, for sure, right? for sure. So, talking to my sister, man, she was like, "You got to have Kim on. You got to have Kim on because, what we're gonna touch into it. But what Kim has done, what she has been going through, far as business wise, she got to tell people what's going on and what's going on with that, how to persevere through that. So, like I said, man, I appreciate you for coming on for that. And you also got to let the people know, give us a little bit of insight about Peace Haven.
So Peace Haven is one of my geriatric care homes in Forsyth County, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's a residential assisted living facility that provides 24-hour care to seniors. So it's pretty much like your big box facilities, but in a smaller, more intimate residential setting.
Okay.
So I take care of little old ladies and little old men.
We're gonna listen, it's well needed. So we're gonna definitely touch base on, we're gonna get into that for sure. I'm gonna bring on the next entrepreneur, next business person on here. Me and this guy go way back to high school. He was actually a big homie of mine, so to speak. You know, so it's an honor to have this guy here, man. He is the owner of Will Bradley Sports Performance, and he is responsible for helping athletes secure over $500 million. That's what it be, $500 million in scholarship money. And if you in the Triad area and you got a kid, or you know somebody who needs like this type of trainer, or is doing something as far as sports is concerned in the Triad, they know who Will Bradley is. So y'all, please, man, help me introduce my partner, Will Bradley, to the show. Will, what's going on, man?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
Will Bradley Sports Performance. It's then came a long way too, bro.
Man.
The number one, you know, Will, the number one question that I get as it pertains to you is what inspired that? Because cats who know you, they know the answer to this, but I just want you to put it out to folks who don't know.
Absolutely. I was going to say, you were part of it, right? Just being an undersized guy, wanting to, you know, take football as far as I could take it.
Yep.
Man, the Lord blessed me to be able to get to the Arena League, play the big time Division I college football. Yep. Guys like me aren't supposed to make it, 5'5", 150, 155 pounds playing in a big man's gladiator game. But just all those lessons and, you know, everything I had to go through, trials, tribulations, and just being able to learn how to navigate certain situations, you wanted to take that and really just be able to impart on the next generation coming up, because there's always somebody coming behind you. And that's all it really is at the end of the day.
For sure. Hey, I'm going to tell you, like I say real quick, because I know we got to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. But yeah, Will, you were a smaller guy, me and you both. But, man, the heart of a lion, boy. And you knew Will Bradley was going to compete. And that took you to, like you say, a Division I school. And back then, hey, I admired that. I was like, that kid, he can do it, man. There's a chance for me. So, man, I appreciate that. And I know that inspired you to want to pass that game on to other folks, man. And you have done an amazing job. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that because you have touched a lot of key. What was it? $500 million?
$500 million, man.
Come on, man. Come on, bro.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
thank you.
We're going to touch on it. We're going to touch on it. Hey, listen, man. We're going to give you flowers, both of y'all. Let me get the last person or the group of people on here. Because they are doing their thing out there in Houston, and Houston is a market that's booming. So let me get these gentlemen on here. We got Trebor Hogue, or Trey, and Glenn Fuller, better known as the Magic Duo. Now, they are called that because throughout their business careers, they always seem to end up doing things together and saving one another on different occasions. Although they are located, like I said, in Houston, out of Houston, Texas, they service other areas in Texas, such as Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Austin, Texas. Some of their accomplishments have been, they have been at the top of their brokerage for months on end, and they're striving to make sure that all their clients are well taken care of. They are known as to be the team that will fight for everything that you need for whatever they deal with and whatever they're working on. They are known for that out there in the Texas area. They're going to continue to obviously do real estate, but of course they're trying to expand their portfolio, and they're working on opening up multiple group homes for veterans. And they always have a passion of taking care of people to help their situations out, no matter what it is. And they're always trying to make those people's business their business. So I'm honored to invite these gentlemen on here, man. Trebor and Glenn, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing down there?
What's up? Hey, we good.
What's going on, man? Trebor, it's been a long time coming, brother. Long time coming.
Yeah,
long time coming. And Glenn, like I said, man, it's a pleasure to meet you, man, and I appreciate your service. You were retired from the which branch? I don't want to say the wrong one.
Navy.
The Navy. Okay. Yeah, man. We
Sorry.
definitely appreciate that. You want no Navy SEAL, were you?
I actually tried and realized real quick that wasn't for me.
hey, let me tell you. I commend you because you got to be a law off to do that. We knew one dude in the Navy that done the Navy SEALs and passed it, and he was off.
It messes that up quickly. So
yeah, for sure. But be that as it may, man. Thank you so much for your service, brother. Real quick, man. Y'all doing y'all thing down there, man. It's a lot of folks moving in Houston, man. Is that market? I want to ask y'all this: is that market getting saturated down there quickly, or have y'all seen that?
I mean, really, it's up and down.
Okay,
it's up and down, and it really just depends on area. Honestly, when it comes to this portion of it, it just really depends on what people are looking for.
Okay,
and if they're ready, and then if they're not ready, helping them prepare to get ready.
For sure.
I would say that we always, when you say we fight, we always say our quote is "fight for the yes." And when you say the saturated, it really depends on. That's what we have to fight to figure out, like based on what clients need. You have to fight to get whatever it is that they want to keep their budget intact.
For sure, man. Well, we gonna, like I say, I've had 2 people on here in real estate, but never in that market. That is a market where, again, man, I've had a lot of people out there in that area want information on that market and how the market is and how they can get into that market. So I know y'all can touch on that. But we're going to get right into it, fellas and ladies. We're going to get right into it. I'm going to start with Kim, ladies first, right? We got to be gentlemen. So, Kim, real quick, I want you to go. I like to start at the beginning and kind of tell me where the itch for business came from. And then kind of, I guess you can give a history because I know it's Peace Haven, the assisted living homes. Is this your first business venture?
No, it's always been the itch. I feel like I'm a little bit of a serial entrepreneur. I need to pipe that down a little bit.
Yeah.
But, before I got into this business, I was in retail. I had a lingerie store in Greensboro, North Carolina on Randomman Road called Jasmine's Intimate Apparel. And from there, I met a couple from Thailand who was in the convenience store business. And then they had a store out in Winston-Salem that they were selling, and we bought it out here and then moved to Winston back in 2005. Of course, it was the year that my grandmother passed away, so it was easy for me to make that transition. We were in that business for 12 years, running gas stations. And then eventually, my children's father at the time was a victim of a violent crime, and that's when I became a nurse. I've always had that caregiver, mentality. It's just been in me. But I didn't realize what I really should be doing until, we went through that. Ended up being in the hospital for an extended period of time. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go to nursing school. So I did. I started, the incident happened in November. By January, I was enrolled in school. I became a nurse. I worked as a nurse for about 7-8 years. And then I went into working for myself because I felt like if I could put the time in for somebody else, I could put the time in for myself. But all along I had wanted to do, I wanted to open up an old folks home at the time is what we called it. And
what we call it back, yeah.
We don't call it that now because honestly, it's some young people in it. But
for sure, yeah,
right.
But at the time, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know, what to do. I didn't have anyone to mentor me, and everybody that wanted to mentor or consult was charging an astronomical, amount of money. So I started traveling as a nurse. And then when I started traveling, I started, one of my girlfriends who was also a travel nurse planted a seed, and she said, we work nights. And so she said the first 4 hours are for them. And then the rest of the hours are for me. So I started doing a ton of research, working night shift, getting everything together, learning how to, start that type of business, application processes, rules, regulations, things like that. And I had rented a home and I was renting it out as an Airbnb, but God said, no, This is not what this is supposed to be. This is not why you got this property. And so my bookings just fell off a cliff. I mean, they literally just stopped. No one was booking the place.
Now, what time frame was this? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh gosh, I started traveling in September.
Okay.
I got the property in January. By March, I was coming back from California to start my licensing process. So it was only for a few months, that.
And this was 2006, 7?
Oh no, this was in 2000. This was pre-COVID.
Okay.
So this is right before I went into long-term care.
Okay, gotcha.
This was about 2020.
Okay, so right back off. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, the long-term care I've been doing for 4 years. So gotcha. I moved back and started my licensing process, and that's kind of just what catapulted me into doing it. But initially, it started from trauma. And that trauma turned into a blessing inadvertently. You don't think about it, but that's just kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I started getting into it. And when I moved back and I started my licensing process and was licensed in 3 months, and then I was like, okay, excuse my French, but shit getting real now. So everything started working. I was like, okay, we doing this. We doing this. And before you know it, I started, moving people in and taking care of people, and it just started growing and growing and growing, and here we are.
Ain't that something, man? Like, so that Airbnb. So let me make sure I get this correct. That Airbnb property that you had, was that? I'm assuming that was your first assisted living property.
Yeah, it was my first. I did not get it for Airbnb though. I got it for assisted living, but I wanted to circumvent my losses and rent it out as an Airbnb while I was going through the licensing process. Yeah. So I knew that once I was licensed, I couldn't run the Airbnb because I couldn't have both in the same, residence. But the booking just stopped, and for me, I took that as a sign from God. He said, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm gonna give you a little push, because apparently you need one. You're a little bit too comfortable traveling, and so I moved back and I transitioned it completely.
Man, that's crazy. That's amazing. And as far as like resources, the people who was there anyone who gave you advice on what process to take, or is this all things that you researched yourself?
I mean, a little bit of both. YouTube University. I mean, I'm just going to
come on now.
YouTube. I watched a ton of YouTube videos. I watched people in Houston that were doing this business, people in Arizona that were doing this business. I just did a lot of my own research, late nights, long late nights, sitting up watching videos, doing my own research, honestly. And then following a few people on Instagram that were already doing it, but weren't willing to, they were gatekeeping a little bit, and everything came with a fee. At the time, I didn't have the money. I did have the money, but I didn't want to take my startup cost and invest it in, the consulting part, because when I did do that, what they taught me was things that I already knew. So I felt like I kind of wasted my money. So with that being said, I say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And so that's what I teach my mentees now, is for them to learn the business themselves. Because if someone had handed this to me and I paid them to do all the work, I wouldn't have learned anything.
For sure, man. That's critical. Like everything. All right. So everything y'all see, as far as like the graphic engineering, the production of what you see, I literally spent hours on learning how to do it myself.
Yeah.
I went and I was like, I went to somebody who does this, and I was like, man, how much y'all charge for this, man? He gave me that. He told me like $3,000-$4,000. I said, yeah, I got the YouTube University and learn how to do this, and I ain't gonna go live or do it the right way. I want to do it the right way. So it's very important, man. I
had already had some of I had already had business knowledge because, as I said, I had a convenience store for 12 years. So I knew about registering the business. I knew about business licensing. I knew about, bookkeeping, all of those things, but I didn't know the state licensing process, which, the guys in Houston getting into the group home business, you'll get familiar with how the state gets in your business. But with that being said, that's what I needed people to teach me. is what are the rules and regulations? What kind of properties should I be looking for? Who can I put in these properties? What kind of income and revenue is this going to generate? Because I thought about the group home thing and the behavioral health and the mental health, but I like my peace, and
for sure.
Different population. So I've always had a thing for elderly people, and as you know, Eddie, I always said, if my grandmother could have had, some assistance from someone like us, I always felt like she might have lived a little longer, but she was stubborn, and a lot of people in our culture don't want to go into facilities. They just don't. So we provided a different setting.
Rest in peace, Miss Neal. That was grandma number 2. It was my grandma's house, and it was the Neals. I mean, that's so definitely, man, definitely, definitely for that, Kim. So I definitely appreciate you that information. And like I say, man, the overall goal and the reason why I started this particular episode was to figure out how I can get to a point where I run a business and I can spend more time with the family. So that like you said, you like your peace, right? That's definitely understandable for sure.
It's priceless.
It's priceless.
I mean, that's literally my logo at the bottom of my sign. Peace, haven, assisted living, where peace of mind is priceless. And that doesn't only apply to my families because we provide them a peace of mind, taking care of their loved one. But for me as a business owner, we need our peace of mind too. Now, don't get it twisted. The struggle was there, the blood, sweat, and the tears, were there. But you do that hard work to get to this point.
Right. For sure. So now you got Peace Haven Assisted Living and you have Serenity Living at Will Mead. Tell me how.
I'm working on a third one, but go ahead.
You're working on a third one? Okay.
My last one.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop there and I'm gonna move to Will, right? But I'm gonna obviously come back to you, Kim. Hey, Will, let me ask you this, bro. Will Bradley Sports Performance. Take me back. When did you what was the beginnings of Will Bradley Sports? Because there's a little interlude, so to speak, before you created Will Bradley Sports Performance. So talk to me about that.
So we'll take it all the way back before I even got into this field. So, as we've been talking, I played big time college football. I played at Temple University. You see the helmet in the back.
Come on.
So senior year ends, you're trying to go pro. So I had just gotten to the point where I'd earned a scholarship, smallest scholarship starter in the country. I started, did the college thing and was now trying to take it to the next level. So I was looking for a place to train because that's what you do. You go and train for about 8 to 12 weeks. And then you either go to the NFL Combine where you do that. And then if you don't get invited to that, you have an NFL Pro Day at your school where you get to showcase your talents for NFL scouts. And then, the process goes from there. So I needed a place to train, but I needed to do my senior internship. So I'd been training with my guy. You remember Todd Duyon? You remember Todd, track coach?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You remember Todd?
Yeah, of course.
Todd and John Robertson,
John Robinson. Come on now.
That's when he was making his run to try to run the Olympics. So
that's right.
He was living with Todd, training just so he could do all the things he needed to do. And they had found this facility, Velocity Sports Performance, that specialized in training athletes, teaching you how to run, weightlifting, all of those good things. There had never been anything like it. And Todd was like, Will, you really need to look into this facility. I think that it can help you. So going into my senior year, I came home for a couple of weeks and I did a couple sessions. And, it was cool. So I put 2 and 2 together and it was like, man, I need a place to train, but at the same time, I need to finish my internship. Todd made the connections. I spoke with the owners and everybody that ran Velocity Sports Performance. They make it happen. So I'm able to train for my NFL Pro Day. I'm also able to finish my senior internship. During that process, I didn't make it to the NFL, but during that time, there were so many different trainers that we were dealing with. And it was, Will, it's going to be hard for you to make it into the NFL. You're small. But there's a place for you in either the Arena Football League or in the Canadian Football League. So if you don't make it, don't be discouraged. I think you need to continue to train. So that's really what it was at the end of the day. I never thought about being a coach. Trainer wasn't even a thing at that time. Mm-hmm. I did well the internship, though. I think I had a lot of credibility just because I had accomplished some things that, a lot of the young athletes wanted to accomplish. So they were going to listen to, anything that I said. I had a great background in training just because of being around Todd. And I needed a place to train still. So I didn't make it in the NFL, and Velocity allowed me to do that. So that's how I got into the field as a sports performance coach. I remember I was like, there's no way I'm doing this. I just graduated #1 in my major, sport recreation management major at Temple. That program was the #1 sports management program in the nation. So I'm like, I'm the #1 student and the #1, in the sports management field in the country. I can just go do, whatever I want to do. We don't want to coach. If you coach, that means you didn't make it. So I kind of shied away from this, but I was in the field because I needed a place to train. And I guess I was just pretty decent at it. But what happened was Velocity shut down in 2010. So the way I got into this business is I was getting ready to get into orthopedic sales. The only reason I couldn't take that job is I was living on a shoestring trying to play arena football, and I didn't have a reliable car. So I wouldn't have been able to, go across the territories I needed to go across to make sales. So I couldn't take the job. But I got a call from a career CFO. She was the mom of a kid we trained. And I just remember she called me and said, Will, if a CFO is willing to give you free advice, would you take it? And that's a no-brainer. So we sat, I met with her, and she was just like, Will, there's a lot of people in the fitness industry, not necessarily your niche, right? But just different niches within the fitness industry that put themselves in position to make 6 figures. So I was like, do you really think that, that's something that, that I could do? And she said, I believe in you. All the kids wanted to train with you anyway. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take hard work and ingenuity, but I think that's something you can do. So I took her up on it and just kind of freelance did it for a couple of months. And then it started to take on traction. And then I always say 1 month turned into 2 turned into a year, and then kind of are where we are right now.
All right, man. I'm listening to you, man. And I'm just thinking back to when Sid used to be like, yo, man, hey, yo, Will taking off with this thing, bro. And I used to always be like, bro, I'm not surprised, because Will always, like, he was the hardest working dude I knew, or one of them at least. And it don't surprise me, man. Like, I knew you had knowledge, because every time you would spit game to us, I was always blown away by what you. I was like, man, how the heck this cat, like, not necessarily knows this much, but now when you apply it, it actually works, and it worked for him, obviously. So it's got to work for me. So, man, tell us about. I don't want to skip over the important stuff. So you got 2 locations right now, right? You got one in Greensboro for the Triad. And then you say you got one in Charlotte, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We expanded into Charlotte in 2021.
Man, now I think the most amazing thing about what you do, Will, is all your staff members that work for you trained under you at one point.
Absolutely. Every single one of them. They all trained with me from the time they were 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, all the way up. So every single one of them ended up getting a scholarship outside of maybe 1 or 2. They all played college sports, and they all come back to help grow the brand, which I'm forever indebted to every single one of them. So some of them work full-time jobs, and this is a side hustle for them. And, we've got a couple full-time people, and we're just continuing to grow this thing to put everybody in position to, make this their full-time option. This is what everybody wants to do at the end of the day.
Right. And I want to make sure, because I just got a comment from a listener. So I want to make sure everybody understands what goes into the sports performance, Will. So you guys do speed consultations or speed training. And I'll let you kind of explain exactly, kind of give me exactly what it is that your sports performance endeavor includes or entails.
Okay, so I'll break it down to you as if you guys are clients, right? Or just,
Right.
wanting more information. So this is the spiel we give everybody. So what we are is we're sports performance specialists, right? So our job is to make your athlete a better overall athlete. So that way, when they go back to their given sport, they're a better piece to work with. And we do that through 3 different channels. So we do it through speed training, agility training, and then strength training. And then you've got other stuff we'll do off of that, like, flexibility, mobility, nutrition, guidance on recruiting, things of that sort.
Okay. So in a nutshell, like y'all have basically a one-stop shop for the athlete. As far as, see, that's critical because most of the time people would have to go to get that. They would have to go to different areas. You know what I mean? So it ain't for you to have all, and you have certified nutritionists that work for you. Is that?
We do. So the nutritionist we outsource is a college teammate of mine. So the dope thing about him is he actually trains Army Rangers for a living. So he went back and got his registered dietitian certificate. He went back to school for that. Just in case he wanted to go back and be a strength coach in the NFL. What it is, it was going to make him a more marketable piece because now he could handle the strength and conditioning side in addition to the nutrition piece. So he ended up staying in working with military and special ops people. But, what I try to do with my business is, we try to use our business to put other businesses, especially people that we have relationships with, in position to grow. So I was like, you know what, we could go with a lot of different nutrition people, but, I'd rather go with you.
For sure. Yeah, definitely somebody who you that's your partner. Y'all play ball together and stuff like that. And he know what he's doing. Training Army Rangers? Yeah, he know what he's doing. For sure. That's what's up, man. Whole click eating.
Whole click eating.
Bruh.
Love it.
What is that about, man? What's that mantra about, Will? I know what it's. I think I have an idea what it's about, but tell people what whole click eating means.
All it means is everybody that's associated with us is doing their thing. So here's how it came about. So we were warming up a group one day back when we were doing a lot of group training. And you talk and all that stuff. And it was just like, how did your weekend go? And I swear that weekend, everybody in that group, everybody had either gotten a scholarship offer that weekend or they had a really good performance in a game. So it just out of nowhere, I'm listening to everybody talking. I was like, damn, my whole clique is eating. And then the light bulb went off.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think I got something. So I knew I had it when I was telling people what the new tagline was going to be. And a lot of older conservative people were saying, I don't know if you want to go with that because it sounds too slangy. So as soon as I heard that, I said, yep, that's what we need to go with. And we've been able to build a huge brand just off of that. Everybody hears whole click eating, they know it's us.
Bro, listen, the way you showcase these athletes, man, like from week to, and you're consistent with it too. Like, I know that the people you train, bro, love y'all, man, because of how y'all showcase. So for instance, somebody performs well, you'll literally go down a whole list of high schools or colleges or whatever the case may be, any athlete that you train, and you literally showcase what they've done. And at the bottom of it is whole click eat. Bro, I love that, bro. That is dope. That's dope, man. And like I said, you done moved into Charlotte too. So I know you didn't touch a couple kids that I didn't play with their fathers, or I know them probably. I think that's dope, man. Like, what any other areas you looking to expand in?
So we're really close with getting a private school in Raleigh. So what we want to do is we want to have it to where it's Greensboro, Raleigh, and Charlotte, and then just kind of go from there and do some freelance things, maybe camp or something like that. Like, we're looking into doing something up in the Philadelphia area. A couple of my college teammates want to bring what we're doing to their area. I had another college teammate in Colorado. We had a 3-year run where he would fly me out every year to do NFL draft prep, and we were able to help 10 plus guys get to the NFL just because of this system I've been able to build.
Bro, that's dope.
College,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, college. I forgot to say this. We were speed consultants at Campbell University's football team from 2021 to 2023. That's huge, just because colleges don't go into the private sectors to get people to work with their teams because they don't have to. You spend six figures on guys that are knowledgeable in certain areas. So, that was huge for us, just in terms of building our credibility and giving us another lane to be able to expand into.
That is amazing. That's you're right, dude. That's ultra big.
Can you come get my son?
What you said? I couldn't hear.
I said, can you come get my son? He think he want to play football.
Hey, let's do it. We can do that for sure.
Yeah, he in the area. He in the area.
He a big guy.
Let me go to Trebor and Glenn at the bottom wheel. I'll come back to you and, and you as well, Kim. Big dog, talk to us, man. Currently you guys are tell us, actually, you know what? Tell us. Go ahead and give us an insight of exactly what it is that you guys specialize in.
Oh, I mean, basically, the gist of it is really we harp a lot on ownership. That's the one thing that a lot of people do lack, especially us. We lack ownership, or not thinking about ownership. And we don't have nothing for ourselves. We don't have nothing for us to leave. So that's something that we harp on a lot. Also, just trying to help people understand that, of course, it don't matter where you live at. Eventually, you're gonna get equity in your house. When you buy your house, when you own your home, you're sitting in your own bank. Technically, you are. You can always get any situation while you own your home. You lose your job, you get sick. Whatever changes. You rent an apartment, 30 days, you out on the street. Rent a house, 30 days, you out on the street. When you own your house, especially here in Texas, like just to go through the foreclosure process takes like 6 months to 6 to 12 months. But you got options to rent your house. You can sell your house. You can pull equity out of your house. You got too much stuff you can do to sustain being in ownership. But in renting, you ain't got nothing. Ain't no investing. There's no nothing. You paying somebody else's mortgage. You invested in them, and you throw money away.
Facts.
Yeah, the biggest part is education and trying to teach clientele, or we call them customers until they become clients, but still teaching them how, when people talk about it's too expensive, everybody has that. And like, I know I was going to say it. I forgot her name. What's her name? Kim.
Yeah.
Like you said, when we're younger, we use different terminology. We have different mindsets about stuff, right? And a lot of people still have that mindset, I can't buy this because it's too expensive, and I can't do that because this ain't for me, or we can't do it because of whatever that reason is. And us working in this field, it's a lot that we know that could happen, and being able to share that information and tell them that, hey, if you take your first, depending on your credit, right? You take your first and your last month's rent when you're leasing. And if your credit is crappy, you're going to have to pay an additional, right? That's right. Your down payment. People don't even understand. And you can actually say, let me just get in this lease because it's easy. Yeah, it is easy, but buying your house is too. So basically, we come from a serious educational part and trying to make sure that we let people know how to, what to, and then, even when people get pre-approvals and so forth, if we have those people that say, I only want X, Y, and Z, then they get a $700,000-$800,000 pre-approval, and then they taste go from here all the way up here, and we have to tell them, okay, we get what you have, but what is it that you're comfortable paying monthly? See, people don't even understand that. They think, okay, I get this $900,000 pre-approval, I'm going to go get that. No, you're not. And we're really blunt. We tell people you're not about to do that, because at the beginning you say you can only afford $1,500 a month for rent, but now you're talking about you're about to pay $5,000 a month for a mortgage. That ain't matching up. So we come from a big educational piece of trying to make sure that we relay the right message to our clientele, and that's why we are very successful. Trades definitely lets them know from yin to yang every piece of the pie that they need to have. And that's how we, we've also lost clients that has came back to us because we tell them no, right? And then they understand, okay, this realtor was trying to sell me this house, knowing I couldn't afford it, but you guys gave me this piece, and this is what we say, this is what we're talking about.
And we also help out other realtors. We also educate other realtors as well. So there's something else that we are doing. We're actually in the process of building our own team, and not just in Texas. We have somebody that's joining our team in Vegas. We have somebody joining our team in DC. So we have people that's actually joining us because they see what we do and asking like, how y'all doing this? You know, I look up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and I see y'all that close and you got people struggling. A lot of realtors don't even know to educate their clients just on a pre-approval process. And when I say that, just to piggyback off of what Glenn was saying, yeah, you have those clients, they come in, they're like, oh yeah, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and a 2-car garage. That's all I need. It's just 1,700 square feet. And then, then that pre-approval come back and they're like, okay, well, you know, after everything else, they just said that you can have 600,000. You want the 600,000 house, but you don't want the $600,000 payment.
Correct.
And it's big it's big in this on educating your buyers, even your sellers, on what the market is, what's going on, and even if you're not in the process, even if you're not ready in the moment, we don't throw you away. We won't throw you away because your credit's not good or you don't have the money at the time. We'll help you.
I think that's very critical, man. One thing I've myself and a lot of people have experienced is these realtors who really, you're a number. Like you're a number. I need them. Yeah. I'm basically, you know what I mean? Like,
can I say this? You always, whenever anybody listen, when you're shopping for a realtor, understand a realtor from a business and understand the realtor from a passion.
Sure.
It's a difference. Because if you're money hungry, that's where their mindset is, right? When you're passionate about your clientele and passionate about your job, it shows in your transaction. And that's why we get and pick up other people, clients. Not that we go reaching out because that's not our thing, but people come to us because it's a passion for us. At the end of the day, I'm not about to tell you and force you into something and then after we close and here you are looking at me talking about, I don't know how I'm going to do this. We come from a heart, you know, and this world has become heartless. That's what I can say. And Trey is way more passionate. I'm more whatever, but I'm still very passionate. But we always tell people that's why that no. And a lot of realtors are scared to say no because they see that number, they see that 3%, and then that's it. But I don't care if I could get $1 million off your transaction. If these numbers don't match for your life, your way of living, we're not doing it.
Dude, I think like, and I appreciate you for saying that, Glenn, because that's very vital. Our realtor was not that way, did not care. A lot of information we missed. And thank God that I actually kind of think a little bit. And, you know, my wife was up on some stuff and we just, you know, looked at some numbers, so to speak, to make sure it made sense. But yeah, man.
When we
having a real actually care.
We just be so surprised. We be so surprised.
Yeah.
Like when people come to us and it makes us have the baddest reputation. And that's why we fight for our own reputation, the magic duo. That's why we call it. You don't have one, you have two. So wherever you're dropping the ball, if there's 5,000 appointments, one of us is going to be at one of them. You know, even if it's a birthday at one end, we at one end, and then at the other end, we're going to be at the other end. It's all about being passionate about your job. And that's why I tell everybody.
Yeah.
You have to come back and be like, oh, well, they didn't tell me this, or they told me to do this, or they told me to do that. You're not going to get the opportunity to do that with us. And no, we're not perfect at all. You know, we make mistakes and there's things that we miss just like anybody else does. But I'm not going to give you the opportunity to be like, he put me in this house knowing that this house wasn't for me. They put me in this house knowing that this house wasn't for me.
Right, man. Yeah, absolutely, man.
And that's why I always try to educate people to do your own due diligence. You know, don't lean on other people so much to tell you everything. You have to learn something on your own. Otherwise, you know, you're going to be taken advantage of. And you're not even going to realize it until, you know, you get a letter in the mail and you see that mortgage, it keeps going up. You know, people
don't even understand.
That's good right there. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up.
People that, because, you know, that's another educational piece. homestead filing that drops your stuff. But at the end of the day, certain things is out of our control. We don't control the state and IRS and so forth with these taxes going up and down. But if you don't know that part, you're going to be looking at one day, like you just said, get a letter in the mail. And here you are talking about your mortgage just went from 23 to 35. But we make sure that we tell people that even when they get money extra, like an escrow or whatever the case may be, or the big deposit, and they're like his client that closed around the corner got a big $9,000 deposit. And he called him, of course, and he was like, leave the damn money alone.
And that's exactly what I said. Leave the money alone. As a matter of fact, I told them to get the address to the correct area, the correct address in the area in the mortgage company where we need to go, because we knew that it was an overpay from escrow. Yeah. And they sent it back to them. So the thing is, as soon as you take that $9,000 check and you go put that in your bank next year, now you're behind on your taxes and you short in your escrow. And then you're calling me into the escrow. And you're calling us and you're asking us to fix something that we told you not to touch in the first place. And now you're struggling and you're having a hard time affording your home because now your mortgage done went up. You know, $9,000. If you spread that over 12 months,
that's a big jump.
That's what your mortgage went up.
Yeah.
But that's again where we come from, is being educational, because when people close and we tell them, you know, even when you're closed, your loan is sold to another person, you know, and if you don't know that, they're talking about, I thought it was with them and you guys, and at the end of the day, we're the face. I don't care who we refer. We can refer Eddie, we can refer Kim, we can refer you. It don't matter. Y'all faces are not that. It's ours. No matter how much y'all mess up, our reputation is trash because of it, right? And that's what we practice on.
It's always the realtor fault. Mm-hmm. And the house cannot be ready on time if it's a new build. That ain't got nothing to do with us. The power may not have came on in the community so that the construction can continue. The title company may have messed up something where it wasn't balanced. You know, we get a lot of stuff. Utility companies, we get a lot of stuff, but everybody believes that, well, as my realtor, you should have known this, that, and the other. As your realtor, I can't tell you nothing about the title company. As your realtor, I can't tell you nothing about what the builder is doing. That's not our ministry. Our job is literally to take you through the process. Once you get out of that process, do we leave you? We don't. A lot of them do, but we don't. We kind of pretty much become family, with the exception of two clients, but we pretty much become family with our clients, and we stay in contact with them. You know, you think about this stuff, and I mean, even though I say I'm not a people person the way I used to be, I am still a people person. So I can't help but kind of like people, kind of connect with people and you know, make sure people are good. I still reach out to our former clients that we have now. Hey, is everything good? You have any issues with the house, especially when it's new construction? Because a lot of people will call and complain about the house, but forget they got a warranty on their house. What you calling me for? Call the builder. So, you know, it's one of those type situations that you have. As a realtor, you're not just a realtor. And this is what we say all the time. A realtor, you a counselor, you a pastor, you are a teacher,
a therapist,
advice, all of that. Do you know if I should pay this off or should I do this? And even though we're not loan officers, we do have a little bit of experience on that side to, you know, help people out. We will literally sit up there and help somebody scrub their credit report. Hey, this is it's too high. Can you pay this down? What's the smallest things you can do? I don't care if you got a 480 credit score. We know how to get you up in the next 3 to 4 months. 5. Not necessarily having to go to a credit repair specialist.
They suck. Don't do that.
They suck. Not necessarily going to a credit repair specialist, but we can help you scrub your credit report and see what's on there. Get you to pay that stuff down, some of that stuff down, utilization rate. We've even been in a situation before that we had somebody so close that we've even pitched in before. It was like, listen, you're too close to not on this to have this little piece of debt to keep you going.
Right.
Go ahead and handle this. These $200 ain't gonna stop our $10,000. You know, once we close a transaction. So it's a lot that goes with it. But we more than just a realtor. Trust me.
Being an entrepreneur, it's just not just your job. You know, even with Kim, I'm sure you with those houses, you smiling right now, but at the end of the day, it's not always a smiling thing. And if you're not ahead of the game, you become behind. And we always try, because we're, like you said in our introduction, we're in the process. We're going to open up 2, or we're still on the debate of 3, but the group homes, right? And at the end of the day, it's like being an entrepreneur, period, whether it's real estate, group home, the trainer, whatever the case may be, it's all about selling yourself and making sure that you're providing what it is that each client needs. And in that all the time, no, because you have so many different personalities. Some are big, some are whatever.
Some ain't got none.
Some ain't got none. But if you are a person that know how to deal with all that stuff, you'll be great. That's what I say.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man, like this is, I'm getting some comments now. A whole lot of people, man. I'm telling you, you say you're surprised. Like people really deal with realtors who really don't care, man. So
there are some janky.
Yeah.
I have ran across some of the most jankiest realtors. And honestly, you know, when you got people like us that are in it for the right thing and that are true to it, and it's a passion, and it is just not about being money hungry. Like especially you want to see your people. You want to see your people succeed. Give me
back in.
I always tell people.
There she is. Say what happened to Kim.
But I always say, you know,
I feel female.
It's all right. But like I love the rejected people. Give me the people, and I'll give an example in a second. But give me the people that you read a realtor and you didn't know where your credit was. You didn't understand. You didn't know if you can afford a house or not. You didn't know where you were with. And so I met a client that we closed on a couple of years ago. I met her. I was just out doing my normal visits. I go to different builders when it's new construction and put my name out there, put our names out there. Excuse me. Pass out our information and all that good stuff like that, and you know, start building rapport with them. And I actually ran into a lady in there while I was talking with the sales consultant, and she was like, "You seem very knowledgeable, and you know all these plans and stuff like that." And I said, "Well, I'm out here quite a bit. I know the floor plans." And she was just like, "Well, I just met this realtor, and all she gave me was a pamphlet." There was no a pamphlet with autobiography. There was no one-on-one connection, no one-on-one. It was literally just a pamphlet. So of course that made her uncomfortable. And then now you got this realtor blowing up her phone. Did you read about me? How did you feel? Do you think that I can help you out? All you told me was what you did, how long you've been in real estate, and how much real estate you have sold. That's not a winner. That's not a win. I know nothing. I know nothing about you. And technically, even though it's on the real estate side, people want to know a little bit of personal about you so they can understand who they're dealing with. You need to always understand who you're dealing with.
And also people realtors, and I'm being blunt, and some may not be mad, but when you interview a client or a customer until we become a client, one of the questions that we ask them, or two, is where's your credit standing and how much money do you have saved, right? If those two answers are not where the passionate people, that's what I'll say, is here, they're chunked away. And it's like, call me when you, right? We don't like that because we have a database. I have a spreadsheet with all those people, and some of them it's labeled credit issues. We check on them. Where are you sitting at? Did you do X, Y, Z? Did you open up this account? Did you do this? It's you're grooming your people, and that's what comes the passionate part of being a realtor. And when we close on those houses, that's a party. And it's more of a crying party for us because we see that you just succeeded in something that you worked hard to do, that you always wanted to even know that you can do. That's what makes us in our job succeed even harder, right? And we've had a few of them. And as much as I hate to say it, yes, damn it, I did cry one of them. But
you know what's so funny? Just to kind of piggyback off of what y'all said, teaching is so rewarding, you know, and then actually seeing somebody follow through with what you taught them, and then they actually stepped out and did on their own. I teach administrators in training that want to go out and be administrators in big long-term care facilities or smaller residential care home facilities like myself. And I've had so many people pay me money, come through the training, do their preceptorship, and never follow through. So when you see, so I have a married couple that just followed through and didn't even really think that they could do it, but recently just got licensed for their care home in Cabarrus County. And it's like you said, I almost want to cry a little bit. I wanted to cry just to watch them from the beginning, go through this process, and they're like, dang, I did this. Yeah, you did. The first thing, you just got to step out on faith and just do it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Kim, I want to touch back with you because I want people to know the difference between what you do and the living assistant buildings that we are like that are standard that we see. Like you put your mom and dad in a home or like a living assisted facility, so to speak. Yours is different. You don't have. Tell us the difference.
There is the only difference is capacity. Still licensed by the same regulating entity, which is the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. We are still have the same rules to abide by. The only difference is bed capacity. So in the state of North Carolina, if you have 6 beds or less, you are a family care home because it's usually in a residential setting. If you have 7 or more beds, you are then an adult care home, which is your big box facilities. Yep. So the only difference is capacity.
Okay.
And the quality of care. That's the biggest difference.
Is directors required where you are?
Administrators are required.
Kim, do you guys have to have a director on site?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in family care homes, we have something that we call supervisors in charge. And the supervisors in charge have to have certain, trainings and things for them to operate independently. That is what gives me the freedom to not have to be in the homes all the time. I am the administrator and the director of the homes, but I have people under me that can operate in my role, and I don't have to be there. So yeah, we do have to have that. And as a nurse, I kind of killed 2 birds with one stone. I don't have to have a nurse.
Yeah, but so you don't have to.
So that's why I try to pull people out of the healthcare setting. In Forsyth County, we're a big region, right? There's a gazillion group homes, a gazillion of them licensed for mental health and behavioral health. It's only 4 family care homes, and I own 2 of them. So that says a lot about the need for what I do versus a saturation of group home settings, because not a lot of people understand the difference between family care home and group home, which yes, the licensing, it's a little stricter. You have a lot more rules and regulations that you have to follow because you're taking care of such a vulnerable population, but it's so rewarding, and the need is so great. I mean, it's a $93 billion industry. People aging every day. These baby boomers are not going to have anywhere to go because these big box facilities don't have any beds. And it's in Houston, it's in North Carolina, Arizona, Florida, it's everywhere. So I really try to teach people to do residential, just do residential, because it's beneficial. The revenue is there. And that's a big part of it. Of course, is it going to generate, money for me? And it will. You just got to put the work in.
And you are doing consultations, right? Like
I do consultations, absolutely, and I do mentor people. Usually the administrators that come through my preceptorship, it's like you said, I don't leave them high and dry. Once they complete my mentorship, they have my phone number. They can call me, ask me any questions. At no cost. It's free to them. Right. However, I do charge, for consulting, but I also give away a lot of the game for free because, it's enough for everybody to eat. So I follow them through the whole process.
Got you. Okay. And
I love it.
People can what can people find you at, Kim? Like on Instagram, Facebook, online, website?
Yeah. So they can email me at peacehavenassistedliving@gmail.com. You can go to my Instagram page, which is peacehaven_assisted living. I'm also on TikTok as CEO Nurse Kim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I'll make sure. Like I said, that's part of the reason why, Kim, I was to answer your question. I do video because, like, when you say stuff like that, people can go back and replay the video.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they
of
can,
course.
like Like I always want people to mention where they can find you. We want to get that stuff out there for y'all. So
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Will, I got a question for you, bro. And this was a comment made to that. How do you, Will, how do you determine, like, are there athletes that you won't accept, that you will decline? And if so, why would you, not accept an athlete? Or
we accept anybody. We feel like, so this is what we say. So everybody was born with different gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, everybody can improve. So what we want to do is put you in position to be able to operate at your ceiling. So we got some athletes that come in, their parents don't have the expectation of scholarship. It's just, I just want my kid to have a really good high school experience, and then they'll move on and go to college. So, we have something for everybody. You have to honestly just not listen. But I think with us moving into more of an individual setting, that doesn't happen anyway, because it puts you in position to be able to build rapport with the athlete.
Yeah, and there's a reason why I asked you that, Will, because I've seen so many like testimonials from athletes that you've trained, where like literally they didn't think that they could reach the level of performance that you got them to. And I mean, we've seen so many testimonials, man. Like, so I was like, man, have you ever like declined an athlete? And when I look at these testimonials, there's no way you can then decline them. There's no way. Like you literally, your passion exudes through your work and what you do. The passion that you have. Like you got athletes that start up, that come to you, bro. That you know what I'm saying? And I'm not pointing at any particular athletes, but hey, I mean they come in and they're running like 5.5s. By the time they leave you, they running 4.6s, 4.7s, bro. That to me is amazing, bro.
Yeah, it's a huge time drop. We just had that scenario happen a couple times this weekend. So it's you had a kid running 5 and forever, and then he broke 5 seconds at a camp. So yeah, you literally have to just not listen in the settings, or you would have to really not just comply with how we do things, right? Like, okay, everybody wants me. At this point, we have too many clients. We have too many clients for me to work with everybody. So you have to have a team to make it happen, which is what I want anyway. Because the further up in sports you go, you're going to deal with a lot of different coaches with a lot of different personalities. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not so arrogant as to think that I have to be the answer for everybody. There might, like I said, our staff, they all were with me when they were teenagers. So they're probably going to be able to relate with an athlete that's struggling through something better than me, because they just went through it 4 or 5 years ago. So, we might have a couple people that don't want to get on board with that. And then if you want to guarantee me, there's a fee. I mean, we got to make this business run. So, if you're going to stop me from doing everything I need to do to make it happen, there's a fee that comes with that. And, if they don't want to get with that, we would decline at that point. But that would literally be the only thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha, man. Where can they find you at, Will? Like, where can they reach out to you? And any aspiring athletes, man, that want to increase their level of performance?
Got you. So Instagram at WillBradleySP.com, Facebook William Bradley or William Bradley Sports Performance, Twitter at Will Bradley Sports Performance. No, at Will Bradley SP. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. What else? Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. That's about it. Website www.willbradleysp.com. I'm sorry.
I have a question. Is there a cost, and do you offer scholarships? Of course, there's a cost, but what is that?
There's a cost. We don't, every once in a while, we'll scholarship some kids every once in a while, but we don't necessarily have a program in place. That's something we'd like to do in the future. We've had, we've had people reach out and say, you were able to do so much for our kid, right? So we know that this could benefit somebody that doesn't have the resources. Whenever you put something in place, let us know. So that's something we're definitely looking for on the horizon, looking to be able to implement.
Okay.
Yeah. Trebor and Glenn, I got a comment, or not a comment, but somebody had a question. What are some requirements? And if this is something that you consult on, that's fine. But what are some requirements as far as like getting your equity? Or are there requirements?
You said as far as getting your equity?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As far as, I mean, if you want to get the equity at your home, is really just, if you taking the equity at your home is really like applying for a home equity loan. So pretty much you take the equity at your house and you repay it. But if you have, I mean, a lot of people, you may be in your house for 20,000 for 20 years, and you probably got $150,000, worth of equity in your home, maybe even way more than that, these days. If you want to do something with your house to fix up your house, shoot, the way that the value of houses are going up these days now, you can take a home equity loan out of your house and not even change your mortgage payment.
Yeah. So basically, it's a loan against your loan, pretty much. So you take it out by applying through your mortgage company or whoever had your loan, and based on the amount that they choose, they will have to pay that back. But you don't have to pay it back as hand it back. It'll be mixed back into your mortgage, so that will probably make your mortgage elevate a little bit. However, they'll make it feasible and reasonable that it's not taking you way out of whack. So it's not a hard thing to do. All right.
Okay. And you guys I've got several questions.
Somebody asked about that.
Say it again.
I think I saw a comment. I saw somebody ask about it.
Yeah. That's so I think y'all might be able to see some comments, but you can't see everything like on my other platforms that I got. But let me ask you this, Trebor and Glenn. What about you guys? All right. So, when you're talking to like realtors or brokerage firms, when it comes to, your clients, they have these mortgage calculators. Basically, they're telling you, hey, man, your mortgage is going to be this, and then your escrow, and they give you all the intricate details right now. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. So how do you guys? How in fact do you? What you got? How do you guys, in a nutshell? And I don't want you to give everything up, but essentially, what do you guys use? And I know it differs from client to client, but what's your process? Yes,
I know what you're going with it. It's a team effort. We have our lenders. We have on the spot lenders that will make their calculators that they use look as dumb as a 2-year-old. That's pretty much in a nutshell. So you got to understand, AI is everywhere. So you don't know what you're typing in and who's responding, how that stuff is responding, right? So the biggest thing is we have what people say, oh, well, I put this on this. He was having, or I still is, with somebody that's trying to buy a house in Bridgeland or somewhere else. And he told him point blank, well, I put this into my system and these are the numbers I come up with. Mm-hmm. We don't argue with you. We'll just tell you, okay, stand fast. Here's the lender. And then the lender puts it into the system that the lenders are supposed to use, and it breaks it down to exactly what we said.
Yeah,
answer is a team effort, because everybody's not going to listen to one person. It depends on if they're going to listen to or heard 5 different realtors, and 5 different realtors come with 5 different stories. That's where we have a team set up where, okay, if this person is not listening to what I'm saying or you're not understanding, we're going to call one of this one or that one or whatever the situation is, and we'll be able to handle it that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very vital. That's very important, man. Like I say, I got a guy in Dallas. You know him, Trebor. He's thinking about getting into real estate, but his fear is he's a CPA. But his fear is his fear is that he don't want to let anybody down with these mortgage rates or like these, giving people mortgage quote. I'm like, first of all, dude, I'm pretty sure you got people that can do that. Like you got, like he just said, lenders and that you work with that can give people that. You should worry about that, bro. Like, but again, when I was going through the process,
any entrepreneur is going to get bad news. You're going to be disappointed some way from their end or our end. So if that's the issue or problem, they got to get themselves together.
Yeah.
Nobody
put your big girl panties on. Yeah.
For real, right? Like you gotta, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, because I understand exactly where you're coming from. Because, like you said, let's just scratch the whole CPA situation, regardless. Just like what Glenn was saying, even what Kim was saying earlier, and Will was saying, like, is on the entrepreneur side, you're going to be disappointed. It's not easy. It is literally blood, sweat, and tears. For real. Like so he don't, it's not his, I hate to say it, it's not his job to worry about disappointing anybody.
No. It's his job to make sure he don't disappoint himself. And that means you're doing everything you're supposed to do by whatever manual that it is that you're following. Because at the end of the day, do we not sleep because we effed up? No, we don't sleep sometimes because the system just fell off and we could not fix it, right? And that's what make you like freak. But if you have that rapport with your clientele, whoever it is, you'll be set up great because they'll know that you're doing everything that you're supposed to. So tell them you can't have that mindset. Not being an entrepreneur.
Not being an entrepreneur. It's not for the weak, and everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. That's okay too.
It is. It takes strength. It definitely takes some strength.
It takes resilience.
And a lot of patience. Resilience. And a lot of self-encouragement, because a lot of times when things do not go right, when you are disappointed, you do have those times to where you want to reevaluate your life. Like for you, I understood where your side was when you was like, okay, God was like, no, this ain't for me because my book stopped. But you knew that was God speaking to you saying, okay, she's not going to listen to my voice. She going to listen to her bank account. That's what she going to do.
That's right.
I ain't going to put nothing in it. And that's what's happened to you. And I get it. And I get it because I have a health background too. I have a health education and wellness background.
Oh, okay,
so and so when we was talking about nutrition, I'm like, I'm a nutritionist. So,
and it's so funny because people don't realize, Will, your friend who is the registered dietitian, that's something that we need in our field. Right. In a care home business, if you want to take in certain types of clients, you need a registered dietitian, so that gives him, multiple streams of income. He doesn't have to necessarily stay in the sports, arena. He could also be utilized in another arena to just kind of pivot a little bit. Some people don't think about those things.
Right. In this day and age, you need multiple streams.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did Eddie
what made you all want to get into the group home business? I think we lost Eddie. Who gonna host the show? Where you at, Eddie?
I'm mad that you just picked up, Kim. You're like, okay, let me go and ask the question.
I mean, might as well. We here. He'll be back.
Listen, leadership in full effect. So what made y'all want to do group homes?
Oh my God. What made us get in, honestly, is we both love houses. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about real estate or group homes?
Well, real estate and group home go together, so you got your business side, and you got your residential side. I mean, your real estate side and your business side, right. So you already got the real estate part down pat. Now you got the group home portion of it, which is the veterans homes, things like that. Because I was even thinking about opening up a veterans home, but I haven't quite learned where the funding comes from.
It's a whole lot. That's way beyond this show. We would have to have a meeting.
You got my email address.
It is so many different everywhere. It's like it's a lot. It's a lot. We can talk offline about all those things.
So Eddie just texted me.
Okay.
His son disconnected his Wi-Fi box. So he's the host, so he can't let himself back in. So
okay.
He literally got knocked all the way off.
Okay. All right.
Kim, you go first. Finish us up.
I don't know. What did Russell Simmons used to say? Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you.
Right. Let me get my horn.
My God. Poor Eddie.
Oh my Lord.
Well, it was a pleasure, coming on. I really enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed it. It was a pleasure meeting y'all, and all of us come from, kind of different aspects of entrepreneurship. And I think it's good that people can see it's multifaceted, and the biggest thing is if you have a dream, if you have a vision, don't sleep on it, and don't be scared to step out on faith. Because I know I did, and a lot of times I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, but it didn't make me stop. So yeah.
Listen, hey.
I'll say this: meeting good people, we got to make sure we all stay in contact. Sometime maybe once a year trip, entrepreneur, something, because we all work extremely hard, and stress comes because it comes from our passion to make sure our businesses run right, our clientele is great, and so forth. And meeting great people, especially nice people, because I don't know where nicest went in the world no more. Because it's crazy, but we definitely got to make sure we stay in contact, and just saying it because Trey said it, but the people that's watching, our host's son disconnected his Wi-Fi and he can't let himself back in. So we love him and we appreciate him. So y'all wondering where he's at, that's what happened.
He got disconnected.
He got disconnected for his son.
Comment, like, and follow. Comment, like, and follow. And I think we're supposed to say
like, and follow, and then everybody share their social media on here. Because I know, Kim, you shared yours a little bit earlier, but reshare yours, and then everybody can reshare theirs, and that way, if anybody got questions, and they can
reach out to us directly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure meeting everybody.
Absolutely.
Reshare your social media.
Reshare it.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
No, I'm just saying. Just say it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll reshare. Oh, my social media. Okay, so I don't have a lot. I'm working on ebooks, things like that. But I have Instagram, Peacehaven_assisted living. I also have TikTok, CEO Nurse Kim. And then my Facebook is Peacehaven Assisted Living as well, or Kimberly Neal RN.
I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna request you.
All right, sounds good.
What about you, Will?
Okay, so the website's www.willbradleysp.com, Instagram @WillBradleySP, Twitter or X @WillBradleySP, Facebook William Bradley or William Bradley Sports Performance. Our phone number, if you're Greensboro, 336-203-8892, Charlotte 704-529-9494.
What you want to give out?
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So Facebook, I'm Trebor Hogue. What am I? Yeah, Facebook, I'm Trebor Hogue. Instagram, I'm One Fine Realtor. Snapchat, I'm One Fine Realtor. And TikTok, I'm also One Fine Realtor. Glenn's, what's your social media? Glenn's is Glenn Fuller. His Facebook is Glenn Fuller. His Instagram is Glenn E. Fuller. And his TikTok is Glenn Fuller. So
y'all, I'm just not getting to this social media thing, heavy hardcore. So I'm old. So therefore, it's a little bit different, right? So I am now on there, and I actually have comma when I got followers now. So I've been really building when it comes to social media. Personal, I'm great, but social media, I'm really climbing and doing good. So forgive me if I don't know it. Just next time I'll know about it.
Yes, indeed.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Nice. And what did he say? What Sinbad say?
Thank y'all for coming. Russell Simmons. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
See you.
Good night. Bye-bye.